There it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the We Hate Sports Podcast, episode 267, coming at you on this Sunday night. My name is Billy Cameron, aka PC. Joined this week, we got Gianni, Bam, and TK. And boys, is championship week here in the NBA. As we are officially going to start the conference finals on both sides. The Western Conference matchup has already been set. The Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the San Antonio Spurs, something that has been brewing for this entire season. Wemby versus SGA. We also have to react to SGA winning back-to-back MVPs. But we also have to talk about LeBron James and what his future looks like moving forward. Is it in LA or is it back to where he all started, all the way from the beginning? But we also have to talk more in depth about SGA. Like I mentioned, back-to-back MVPs, what this means truly for his legacy, especially if OKC goes back-to-back on championships as well. We also have to talk about the full NFL schedule release. We talked in a little bit in depth about games we're excited to see last week, but now we can really dive into which teams can potentially be affected the most by the scheduling that they have this year. And then we also have to talk about the greatest quarterback in Eagles history because there's a few of us that certainly think otherwise about which is the greatest. So, tap in to the We Hate Sports Podcast. Follow us on our socials, We Hate Sports all across the board on our Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Post weekly the episodes in their entirety on YouTube. So if you follow us there, you won't miss anything. Even if you don't catch us on our audio stuff, we be on our visual stuff as well. So you have no excuse. WHS is where you can find all the hot topics across all sports. So with all that in mind, let's get into first question of the night. Let's talk about the upcoming Western Conference Finals series between Oklahoma City Thunder and San Antonio Spurs. Now, in the regular season this year, the Spurs did end up taking a 4-1 regular series win against the Spurs. And a matchup that was very interesting to look at, to say the least, because Wemby and San Antonio certainly made OKC look very human at various points this regular season. But with Jalen Williams now officially being listed as available, coming back from a hamstring injury that he suffered a while back, he's being listed as available for this series now. And the Spurs, who are coming off of what was, I consider, a pretty dominating last two victories against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm gonna start with you this week, Bam. You're the Thunder fan. What are your expectations for this series?
This is going to be a really, really competitive series. I wouldn't expect anything less. I wouldn't expect a sweep on either end. Um, of course, as a Thunder fan, I'm going to say I have us winning in seven. But if I am worried about any team, it's the Spurs because they they are much like us in the sense of they have a lot of versatile, lengthy defenders that they can throw at us. Of course, they have Wimby in the middle, who has gotten the better of Chet a few times. But also with us, this will be our first time facing them at full health. We got Isaiah Hartenstein back, which again, we didn't have him for I think about 2 or 3 games in the season series. That'll be a big help for us. Of course, we got J Dub back, so it's this is a series that can go either way. I'm excited, but I am, tad bit worried. It would be disingenuous for me to sit here and say I'm not worried about the Spurs. But I think it's going to be a great, great series. Um, I have a few X factors for us, especially SGA is going to be a X factor because he's probably going to be matched up on Stephon Castle again. Stephon is a big guard, one of SGA's weaknesses. If SGA can find a way to overcome that and tap into his playmaking a little more, I think that we see more success. Our heart again is another X factor. Having him in the middle, being able to help with Wimby. We have to be very physical with Wimby if we want to win. make him uncomfortable down in the post, try and keep him on the perimeter as much as possible. So that's my analysis. I'm excited to see what we do, and I personally feel like I don't want to count any team out, but if we can get past the Spurs, then I think that's another ring.
All right. Gianni?
I expect a series to go seven, like Dan said. I think one of the factors too is Wemby. Like Wemby versus Chet. I think that's going to be must see right there because that to me is going to determine a lot, really, like how the series go about, especially in the paint. Because when you have Wemby there, man, it feels like it is like hard to get there. Honestly, look at what happened to Minnesota. I'm not comparing Minnesota and OKC, but you could see that play a huge factor. And honestly, this series can go either way. Bam, I agree with you. Whoever wins this series is going to win the championship. Really, at this point, this feels like it's just like going to go to seven. It just feels like it's going to go that way. And the biggest thing to me is the Wemby and Chet matchup because, like you said, Ben, Wemby has been getting a little bit the best out of Chet lately. And if you look in the regular season, the Spurs been a bad matchup for OKC. You gotta keep it. If you look at past NBA playoffs, the defending champions lost to a team that they didn't match up well in the regular season. Sometimes they transition to the regular season to the playoffs. We've seen it last year, the last 5 years, it feels like. So I'm excited about this matchup. I think the Castle and Shea too. Like I think Castle is going to make him work, of course, but I still think he's going to get his numbers up and everything. I'm just worried about the Chet and Wemby matchup. That to me is a big factor to me.
I'm not as worried about that because people love to exaggerate about Wemby owning Chet. But if you look at it, Chet get his on Wemby too. But I do think that again, if Wemby controls this series in the paint against Chet, then I think that that's still the end for us. But I think Chet will get his too.
Hmm. TK? Purely expectations for this series.
Much as I love to sit here, PC, and scream "Go Spurs, go!" Hashtag. Bam. I don't know if you people. I've been doing that in the chat all day just to try to annoy you, brother. But you've been ignoring me, dog. I see. I see where your head at, bro. You just focus on what you focused on, and that's the next series, bro. I respect it. But honestly, PC, bro, I don't think it's gonna be close, dog. I got OKC winning in five, brother. I'm being generous by giving the Spurs one game, and the reason why I say this is I understand that the Spurs made it tough in the regular season. This is something that Bam pointed out in the sports chat today when we had this conversation. Playoffs is a whole different breed, brother, and we're talking about the NBA champions from last season. This is not a team that won 2 years ago. This is a team that won last season, so they have this experience. In my opinion, the Spurs shouldn't have the. I believe the Spurs shouldn't have even been down or allowed the Wolves to get those two wins that they did in the last series. Gianni, I hear what you're saying about it could go either way, and you're just basing off what you saw last series, and I get that. We all thought that the Wolves could make it interesting when they took that game one of the series, but I like I said, bro, this is a team that has the playoff experience. Honestly, I think that this is the team that's going to, in the end, win another championship this year. And I just think that the Spurs are a team that's a year or two away. I'm not trying to disrespect the Spurs at all. I think the Spurs are going to be one of the best teams in the Western Conference. I just don't think it's going to be this year, PC. So I got OKC winning in five, and I think that their dominance, their defense, Shea being the MVP again this season, and I think that they're going to be able to just show the Spurs that they've been there, done that, and they'll get this series done pretty quickly, as sooner than a lot of people seem to think that this series will be over. So give me the OKC in five, PC. I
Uh,
don't think it's going to be close whatsoever.
TK, I'll say something about Minnesota taking it to 6 games. I think the biggest thing that happened was the ejection of Wemby. That's the reason why I felt it went even 6 games. If it wasn't for that, I think that would have been a other easy 5 game series. I think for San Antonio
I don't
at
think
that
it's
point.
more than that. Again, I think that the Wolves being so physical with Wemby, helps. And I know niggas gonna make the jokes.
But
Oh,
what do
okay.
OKC? What do OKC do better than anybody?
Me, look, I knew it was
It's
coming. Niggas going,
you just made my point even more, in my opinion, bro. Like I
niggas just gonna
just
hear the
shout
jokes.
out.
Oh, they gonna get physical. But that's true. I don't give a fuck about the jokes, the foul bait, none of that. If we have to win, and to win, you have to be physical with Wemby. You have to knock him off his pivot. You have to make him uncomfortable and force him to the perimeter. Because as good as he can be on the perimeter, that motherfucker is 7 feet. If he's in the paint dominating, he's gonna do whatever he wants. So you gotta be physical with him.
I mean,
And
and
I
he
think that's what
and
we
another
excel at.
thing, Bam, he let Nas Reed. We all seen the elbow the 2 games ago. He let Nas Reed get in the set like that. What the hell you think Dort and all these defensive bodies and Jalen Williams and Chet? What do you think these people are going to do? They're going to make Wemby very upset this series. PC, it's not going to be pretty for Wemby. Y'all know how much I love Wemby, bro. It's not going to be pretty for him, bro. The unfortunately for the Spurs and for Wemby, the OKC they just have too many bodies they can throw at him. There's
I
genuinely PC 5 or 6 guys that you could throw at Wemby, and that's going to be a
I
problem.
I think I can meet you halfway in the sense that this is going to be a very mentally enduring series for Victor Wembanyama. I think this series is going to be very eye-opening for the Spurs, very eye-opening for Wemby. Mind you, we're still talking about Spurs like they're a legitimate threat to OKC because they are. This is Wemby's first playoff run. First appearance in the playoffs, and he's already made a conference final appearance. That's scary, number one. Number two, though, the San Antonio Spurs as a whole have been an Achilles heel for against Thunder for a reason. The perimeter defending from Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, Keldon Johnson, a lot of these guys, they are no pushovers. Stephon Castle, I think, has taken his game strictly to another level, especially in that series against Minnesota, which was a very physical series. The Spurs, I have no worries about them when it comes to, okay, can you guys box with OKC in terms of the physicality? I think they can. As a matter of fact, they've shown they can. They have. The issue that I have is when the dust settles and it's the final 2 minutes of the game. Can I rely on Wemby to hit that clutch shot like I can rely on SGA to hit that clutch shot? Due to experience, I have to say SGA. Wemby hasn't done that yet. And that's the one edge that OKC has on this Spurs team is that they just simply haven't been here yet. Now, if that means they just completely cower up and turn to a team that we just haven't seen from this past year, then that is certainly a possibility, but something I definitely don't see. This is a series that can go one of two ways. It will either go TK's way where it ends in 5, or it goes the way that I expect, which is ending in about 6 or 7. This is, in my opinion, Adam Silver's NBA Finals right here. He don't care about what's going on in the Eastern Conference. He don't care about what's going on between the Knicks and currently it's looking like the Caps. Caps are currently up 20 at halftime against the Pistons. He don't care what's going on in the East. In the West, where the money, where the pay pigs are at, where the money bags are at with SGA and Wemby, all those guys, yeah, that's what he wants to see. That's what the entire community wants to see. That's what America wants to see right now. Victor Wembanyama and San Antonio Spurs taking on SGA and trying to stop a dynasty before it truly sets off. Um, I think I could see this series going one of two ways, like I said. Um, but it should be a very fun series. It's going to be a very physical series. These two teams do not like each other. I expect to see at least, if I don't see at least one like big like tussle between the players throughout this series, then we did something wrong. I need the level of hatred to be on the same level. I hate you, nigga. Let's die. That's what I want to see between these two teams. That's what you need to see if you're a basketball fan. That's what we need to see if you're a fan of the NBA. Two teams that just simply don't like each other. We haven't gotten that in so long. Two teams that not only don't like each other, but two teams that are actually legitimate candidates to win the championship. We're about to see it happen in all of its glory. As far as who I have winning the series, I'm gonna go with OKC, and I'm gonna say OKC wins in six. I think that's the Spurs are able to get at least two off. I think they even shock OKC, win game two, and steal one in game four. But ultimately, the depth that OKC has on their bench, even still, from guys like AJ Mitchell, Kason Wallace, Jared McCain. I mean the list goes on and on and on in terms of all the firepower that they have, and all these guys just find a way to hit clutch shots when they need to, every single time. I think that Spurs give them a run for their money, but it's something that simply they just cannot measure up to at this current moment. Maybe next year, yeah. 2 years from now, absolutely. Just not right now. I can't see it. Gee.
You see, to me, when I look at it, I'm not looking at it like how you're looking at it, like, oh, if they could shock them and win one game. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Spurs won the series at this point. Honestly, I don't think it would be a shocker. It wouldn't be upset because I think these two teams are 1 and 2 basically. They're, you could say 1A, 1B. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if either of these two teams, like either team could win in their arena. Basically, I think the Spurs can win in OKC. Obviously, I think the Thunder could win in San Antonio, but I just don't look at it like, oh, they're going to probably surprise them in this game or anything. I don't think is a surprise matchup, honestly, at this point. This is like the battle of all battles, basically.
Mm. Who do you have winning this series?
I got the Spurs in seven. I just like San Antonio. Wemby to me is just like, I know like how TK and you said about the physicality and everything like that. But to me, I think it's just too close of a matchup. I give the edge to the Spurs. But
Mm.
whoever wins this is going to win the championship. That's
Yeah.
how it is.
I feel like it's kind of a pointless answer to give see who you have winning, Bam, but who do you have winning this series?
I got us in seven.
OKC in seven, OKC in six. Um, you said OKC in five. And we got San Antonio in seven. I don't know, man. We got to see how it pans out. Western Conference Finals starting up this week. Game one Monday night in OKC should be a fun one. Like I said, Eastern Conference Finals still have to be finalized. With the New York Knicks, they've had a week off to prepare for either the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Detroit Pistons, and it should be a very interesting matchup, regardless of the outcome. All right. So let's head to the next topic. Let's go to LeBron James and where the Kings' next move is going to be. After the Lakers, got defeated, eliminated from the playoffs last week. There's been a lot of speculation on where LeBron goes from here, if he continues to even play or not, if he wants to play in LA or if he should go back home to Cleveland and retire there, retire where he all started. There's also the factor of Ronnie James, who's currently on his rookie deal with the Lakers, and Bryce James, who still has to be also declared for the draft himself. I the question that I want to pose here is, should LeBron finish his career with the Lakers, or should he go back to his Eastern Conference and play out his career with the Cavs, or potentially go to another new team in the Eastern Conference, in the form of the Knicks or another potential contender? I'll start with you on this one, TK.
I mean, it really depends on what LeBron wants. Do you want an opportunity to win another championship? You want to go to a place where you can make the most money? Um, like you said, PCD, particularly want to go back to the Eastern Conference where it'll just be a lot easier to get to a finals. It really just depends on what LeBron wants. I personally don't think LeBron is going anywhere, PC. We had the conversation last week where I told you guys I just felt like LeBron will play. LeBron wants to play for half a century, 25 years, and I feel like he's going to finish those last 2 years here in LA. But if I'm answering the question just to be a little different, PC. I'll say go ahead and go to the Knicks, bro. For number one, you go back to the Eastern Conference where you've been pretty dominant for your entire career. Number two, the opportunity to make you would just make a shit ton of money in New York. With just your brand, the Nike that you being a part of Nike and just the New York Knicks brand, period. Um, you probably make $1 billion with just that alone, brother. So that's two for two. And then outside of New York, Boston, um, I mean, there's a couple teams that are up and coming, but they're still a couple of years away, like Atlanta Hawks. Depending on what you can say, depending on what Washington does with that first pick, a team like that, the Sixers are always going to be there. Hadley's coming back with the Pacers, so these are teams that will be back in the Eastern Conference. But I think that LeBron James on the New York Knicks would instantly make them the number one contenders in the Eastern Conference. PC. So I mean, if based on all the points that I touched as far as money, being back in the Eastern Conference where it's just a lot easier and possibly winning a championship, I think the New York Nets would be the perfect fit. PC, if those are three things that he's chasing. Um, so yeah, I'll go with the New York Knicks, even though I don't think LeBron James is going anywhere at the end of the day.
Hmm. Bam.
Um, it's really interesting because this is not like his first stint in LA. Well, not his first stint. This is not when he first got to LA, when Bronny and Bryce was still in school. Because TK made an interesting point in the group chat earlier about him not wanting to move his family around, and I consider that because I would severely doubt that Savannah and Jerry want to up and leave right now. And frankly, it would just be easier for him to stay in LA right now. But my only concern is that I really don't think the Lakers like him anymore. Like he's a necessity because it's Braun. But I think that they're kind of fed up with all this media circus. I don't think the new ownership has came in yet. TK can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Jeannie Buss and them still have a lot of influence there, and we know the relationship between Jeannie Buss, Rich Paul, and Braun. We know that that pretty much deteriorated a lot, so that plays a huge factor. But I think what nobody is really thinking about is that this is a Luca decision. If this is Luca's team at this point, if Luca decides and says keep Braun here until he wants to leave, Braun is staying regardless of what anybody wants because Luca isn't leaving at this point. They made it clear this is Luca's team. Uh, Rob Pelinka gifted Luca to the Lakers and said, "Here, I got this motherfucker for you." It's Luca's team, so at this point, it's like it's up to Luca to decide. The Lakers are going to have hella cap. It's been speculated that Braun is going to take the vet minimum, which would help the Lakers out a lot. So if Braun takes the vet minimum and they have a lot of cap room going into the offseason, it could work. It's going to be really tough to make it work, but they can make it work. So, um, yeah, I think this is more Luca's decision than anything.
G.
I think he's gonna stay in LA. But I'll tell you one thing: if he leaves, it's gonna be obviously to the East. It could, like TK said, the Knicks. But I'm thinking too the Cavs. Another sneaky team, probably Orlando, is a sneaky team because Orlando, they're a young team and everything like that, but they need somebody, man, there. And I don't know, maybe LeBron wants to go back to Florida, go on a young team. I don't know who their head coach is going to be, but that could be like a dark horse. And because he doesn't want to leave, probably the Bay Area or like around there in LA and stuff like that, he can go to the Bay Area in Golden State and be with Steph. That's the other option right there. You don't have to go far from home. Bronny will not be far. Price will be around there still. So that could be another choice outside of LA. So those are the teams I'm thinking really because I'm thinking like TK said, the Knicks. The thing about the Knicks is I think they're gonna go after Giannis at this point. I don't think they're gonna go after LeBron. So that's why I
See, but
see it
here's the
playing out.
thing, Gianni. If you just go sign LeBron for the minimum, you don't have to trade Cat. You don't have to do anything to the team. You keep the exact same players and you just sign LeBron.
Wait. Hold on. You think LeBron's gonna sign the minimum?
Yeah, there's already been reports that LeBron will sign a minimum.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
that.
Then yeah, maybe it's possible.
Yeah, you don't even have to sign. Yeah, he would sign for
Yeah,
the
I
minimum.
didn't even see that report. You gotta show
Yeah,
me that report because
I got
I
you.
didn't see it.
That's why this
Yeah.
is the
Yeah,
best case
It's been.
scenario
Go
for
ahead,
the.
man.
I'm saying this is the best case scenario for the Lakers because if he leaves, yeah, you got a lot of cap, but now you got to rebuild the team from scratch. If he stays and takes the minimum, now you got the same core, AR, Braun, and Luca,
Luca.
and then you get rid of all them expiring contracts and rebuild the team from scratch for the most part.
I oh sorry, and go ahead, G.
Yeah. Now if it's the minimum, I feel now is a little different now. Like because now I could throw a team like the Sixers, PC, for example. That could be other option now for him. There's other options now out there.
I'm kind of with TK in the sense that, well, kind of in TK and Bam's answers, combine them. This is Luca's team at this point, so if Luca wants LeBron to stay, then LeBron is going to stay. However, I don't think that LeBron at this point in his career, in was it year 23, is about to move his family cross country once again to try and compete for a championship for 1 year, just to probably go back to retire and move straight back to where they were, 1 year later. It kind of makes no sense for him. Um, I think that all signs lead to Golden State here. And I say this because they are a very delusional squad. They just signed Steve Kerr to an extension. They still got Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time, who has publicly stated that he would love to play with LeBron as teammates. Same thing on LeBron's end. He said he would love to have Steph Curry as his teammate. You could potentially get rid or even do a sign and trade to where the Lakers might have to take, a contract off the Warriors' hands while, the Warriors take LeBron's contract off the Lakers' hands. I don't see a situation, where he moves to the East Coast. Like, as much as I would love to have LeBron, even if it's year 23 LeBron, I don't think the Sixers do it. The Knicks, I don't think they're that desperate to where, they bring in a year 23 LeBron over a 31, 32-year-old Giannis. Um, I can't see it. The only Eastern Conference team that I could see doing it, pulling it off, is the Cavaliers, who, as it stands right now, may not even need it. Um, I I thoroughly believe, like, if he does stay on the West Coast, it's not gonna be with the Lakers, it's gonna be with the Golden State Warriors. Maybe a potential sign trade. Might have to include the third team to make all the logistics sound good, because if there's one player on the Warriors roster that gets traded or gets moved rather, I think it's Jimmy Butler. Um, and you can work out the logistics on that one, but I do think all signs point to LeBron James playing for the Golden State Warriors next season. And we gonna have to wait and see how that actually unfolds, man. Um, I don't know. I think LeBron's time with the Lakers has come to a close. And that's another thing I want to point out too. I don't think LeBron's time in LA has been a failure. Excuse me, been a failure by any means. I mean, he got them a ring. He did what he set out to do when he came to the Lakers. He got them a ring, and he has accomplished everything that there is to accomplish as an NBA player. Um, so ending off his career playing with his friends That's exactly what LeBron James would want. Plus, he gets to stay close with Bronny. Like I said, you don't even have to leave the state. You're just a couple more hours away now. So I would say LeBron to the Warriors in that sense.
Well, I got one
Um,
thing to say, PC. If he ends up going to the Warriors, the fans, the organization, LeBron, Steph Davis gets used to two words: play in, brother, play in. That is
I
what they're gonna
mean,
reach until he retires.
shoot, look, playing or not, look, it's LeBron James and Steph Curry. Same thing with LeBron and Luca. I'm never gonna count them out.
PC, I wonder if the Warriors have the minimum because if LeBron is open to sign the minimum, like TK said, like in the reports and everything, then I don't think the Warriors have to trade anybody at this point. Like they don't have to trade Jimmy contract. They could just run it with Steph, LeBron, Jimmy, and then maybe make a small trade just to add somebody to the bench, just to hold up because who knows what they're gonna
The
even have there.
the unction,
Yeah.
literally, bro, literally.
It's Steph Curry and LeBron James. That's the greatest player of all time playing with the greatest shooter of all time. I'm just saying, like you laugh, but like it's I'm never going to count that out. You quite literally can. And the people that counted out Luca and LeBron's tandem
Would they?
this year,
Okay, PC.
and Luca didn't even play, and y'all beat the Rockets
Would
to
they
at least make it to
beat?
the second
Okay,
round.
so would they beat the Spurs in a playoff series?
No,
Would they beat OKC in a playoff series?
no,
Okay, well, there you go.
those are
That's
two extremes. Those are two extremes. Though I'm just saying, crazier things have happened. Like all circumstances given, everybody's healthy. Yeah, I'm going with the latter, but
You have to
we
talk
all
about
know
extreme.
that it never works out like that.
Why would Braun be going to Golden State unless he won a ring? That's what you got to beat at the to get a
if he
ring.
wants a ring, he got to go to the East, brother.
He's not going to go.
I feel like at this point he don't want a ring. Like,
He would retire.
yeah. He want to play with he will either retire or he want to play with his friends. He will want to play with someone he's wanted to play for a long time now. And again, LeBron has publicly stated he would love to play with Steph Curry multiple
Steph,
times.
Steph not playing for shits and giggles. He won a ring. He misguided in the fact that he's trying to do it in Golden State with 35, 36, 37 year olds and pause, but he won a ring too.
Jimmy Butler, man. Yuck.
I
That's
do
the
think
reason
I will
why
say in that scenario, Jimmy would end up getting traded. I don't know
But
to who, but
who's touching that contract, brother? That
Well,
contract
it's an
is
someone
expiring deal.
disgust. Oh, is it really?
Yeah, there's only 1 year left.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, you know what, PC, maybe you're right. That could work then, possibly.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's an expiring deal. It's not so
Not my
bad as a
Lakers, though.
contract
Not my
because
Lakers, though. I'll tell you that.
the thing that makes the deal look bad is because of the injury he had this past season. But if you look at like his production, he kind of changed that Warriors team a little bit. You remember last season when they were like just dead in the water, and they just traded for him, and they somehow made it to the second round. I don't know how they did it. So
He's gonna love Sacramento, brother.
Probably.
Where the fuck
I
he
mean,
going?
if there's one team that would
Where the fuck he gonna be at this point in Sacramento?
yeah, it's not looking either way, whatever happens, I don't think it's gonna look good for Jimmy Butler. In terms of where he ends up next season. Okay, let's go to the third topic of the night. Let's talk about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who via Shams at 10 a.m. this morning, he announced that SGA has won back-to-back MVPs. Something that's again, I think everybody kind of expected. He had a lot of first place votes. There was some discourse on how it happened. Luca with zero first place votes. But I'm sure it's a conversation we can get into for another day. But strictly talking about SGA right here, what does this second MVP trophy mean for Shea's legacy? I'll start with Gianni on this one.
it just adds to his legacy. I think now his legacy. I say this: if he wins another ring, like remember the conversation we had of where we rank Shea a couple weeks ago. I think we gotta start taking out like KD out of the top 10 conversation, basically, and I think Shea deserves the chance to get in there. If he wins another championship, he already has 2 MVPs. He's gonna get probably 2 final MVPs. Like now the conversation and the legacy talk and everything is going to add more fuel to that. And I'm not sure what you're looking at that way, Ben, but like we talked about it 2 weeks ago. I think we might have to take out KD out of that conversation.
SGA has been nothing short of a talented player, almost a player of prophecy, like the infamous Paul George trade. Nobody saw it from the other end when that trade first happened, I feel. And yet here we are a decade plus later, and we're talking about this guy potentially being one of the top 10 players of all time. Um, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, especially if OKC wins the title again this year, he is top 10. And I can confidently say that. Going into this year, you can make the argument maybe top 15, certainly top 20, but with back to backs on MVP and championship, and don't let him win finals MVP again as well. That's back to back triple crown seasons for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I can't think off the top of my head who's done that before in my lifetime. So I'm I'm very on the same page as Gianni, where it's like, yo, he is top 10, and you're at to boot out a couple of people who want to put themselves in that conversation, especially if he wins another title this year. Um, Without a shadow of a doubt, his legacy, I mean, it only grows bigger and bigger by the day. And winning MVP, back-to-back MVPs, just adds another layer to it, bro.
Brother. It only
I said
grows
his
bigger
legacy.
and bigger
No,
by the
no,
day.
no. Y'all are not going
Brother,
to do. You're
no,
not going to
brother.
do that.
No.
You have to hear the whole sentence. You didn't hear
Oh
the whole
my God.
sentence. You got
Oh
selective
my
hearing.
God,
I
brother.
said
That
his
was
legacy
bad.
grows bigger and bigger by the day.
I hear you, PC. Go ahead.
No,
Continue.
no, you don't. Clearly,
Just
you don't. It was
wow.
selective hearing
That
because all you
was just
see
crazy.
in your bussy filled mind, all you heard was bigger and bigger by the day. I said his legacy grows bigger and bigger by the
Yeah,
day.
TK is sick, man.
I mean, you gotta hear me, TK. You gotta hear me before you react, brother. My goodness. Get your head out together. Go ahead.
Yo, that was crazy. Maybe I like I spaced out for a little bit, but maybe when I came back, that's just all I heard, bro. But anyways, PC, and another thing, PC, what you are you good, my nigga? Are you cool? Because why did you even need to bring up the fact that Luka got 0 votes? There was no need whatsoever to fucking mention that, you bastard. Don't do that again.
Yeah, because it is kind of
It
relevant.
wasn't necessary. You could have
No, it's kind of
you could have
relevant. I
no
mean,
no
he
you
got
could
zero
have
first
said
place
you could
votes
okay
after the
no
argument that
no
we had
no
about
no
it a
no
couple
no
of weeks
no
back.
no no
I
because
just feel like I
no
need to put it
no
out
no
there.
no because you could have said that you could have said Jokic only got 10 votes. You could have said Wemby only got 5. You did not need to say that whatsoever, brother. Anyways, I'm not gonna sit here and glaze shade too much, brother, because I just can't do that. Bam, you my dog. I love you, bro. But you know why, bro. Shout out to my nigga Shay, though. He's one of the ones, bro. One of the best players, if not the best players in a lot of people's minds in the league. But other than that, bro, I think that PC, what this means, we've had the top 10 conversations, but I think that it's gonna be time to put this man in top 3 point guards of all time conversations. I mean, you're always gonna have Magic and Steph in that top 2, wherever you want to put them, whether you got Magic 1 or whether you have Steph 1. Shea will be right behind him, brother. If he wins another NBA championship this year, which I expect the Oklahoma City Thunder to do, bro. Another 2 MVPs now back to back. I think only 14 players in the entire National Basketball League's history have done that. So now, once again, Shea just adds another record to his plaques. Like it's at this point, it's just getting ridiculous, bro. This dude is only 27 fucking years old, and still in his prime. We're just gonna have to talk about Shea year after year after year after year, and I'm sick of it. And Rob fucking Pelinka, you see this shit? You see what's going on? You see how Oklahoma City are just continuing to build around their all talented, all star, all MVP, whatever you want to call Shea, bro. I'm going to need you to get on your shit and do that this offseason, brother, because you're on your last leg. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Bam that said is Jeannie Buss and the rest of these dumb fucks are still in the front office. Yeah, brother. They sold the fucking team just to still have ownership, quote unquote, for the next 5 years, Bam. So I got to deal with this shit for 5 years, brother. And I'm telling you right now, Rob, you fucked this shit up. And you allow teams like Oklahoma City, and you allow Shea to just continue to be in these conversations where he's better than Luka. And at this point, I can't even say shit anymore, bro. I can't even have this conversation anymore, bro. And it's because of you, stupid motherfucker. All right. I don't know if you know what I was about to get racist as fuck. I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, bro. Like I said, PC, this is just gonna push in those top three all-time point guard conversations, which honestly, if anybody was to make that argument right now, I personally wouldn't have any problem with it because I don't have an argument for it. The only argument I can have is the argument I made earlier in the chat or Bam when I said Stockton and Oscar Robertson, two motherfuckers I never even seen play. That's how desperate I am just to not put Shea in these conversations. So Spurs, even though I have no expectations for you, please get it done. And if you can't get it done, New York Knicks or I guess Cavaliers, who two teams that oh my god, it will get ugly. It'll get ugly in that final series. But yeah, like I said, PC, at this point, bro, you just got to put Shea in those top three all time conversations when it comes to point guards.
I think I intentionally pitched a nerve while I brought up Lucas. Well,
no, you're an
Bam,
asshole. You're an asshole. That's what you are.
definitely did. Go ahead, Bam.
For me, it's kind of tough to speak on this topic because I am a firm believer in consistency, and I don't want to go ahead and be like, oh yeah, this is the greatest, and then he fall off a cliff when he's off a bed. Even though I severely doubt that happening, but it really took for me to really sit back and think like I can't, like TK said earlier, I can't think of anybody who has repeated triple crown season. I can't think of anybody who has won MVP, Finals MVP, first team All NBA, and a chip twice, let alone once. So I do think that you have to start clearing away from him in these top 10 conversations. There are already some very uncomfortable conversations happening. So I think that I could see him like TK. So I'm going to say top 5 point guard all time. I'm not gonna say top 3 yet. I'll say top 5 point guards all time. Um, I wouldn't. I expect greatness, so I would want another ring in his career. But at this point, it's like having the peak that he's having. I don't really see much of a drop off happening. So I think that it's some real tough conversations to be had.
Um, Harsh critics. This run from SGA, I do want to say nothing short of inspiring, nothing short of amazing. Like I said, almost feels like destiny in a sort of way. Prophecy that nobody ever saw, but it was in front of us the entire time. Kind of crazy if you really think about it. I mean, NBA being a script, having a magnet, there being magnets in the rim, like it all feels about right. Um, well, quick water check in. We're halfway through the episode for all your listeners. So make sure y'all are staying hydrated, especially with how hot it was today. It was peaking 90 today. As I'm looking at Game 7 right now between the Cavs and the Pistons. I mean, the Cavs are, my goodness, they are walking down Detroit's in Detroit right now. Currently still up 20, halfway through this third quarter, and might be well on their way to a date with the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. But make sure y'all follow us on our socials, media sports all across the board on our Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Okay, basketball heavy episode. Let's dip our toes into the NFL a little bit. Because we have to talk about the full schedule release, which did happen this past week. First, I want to start by saying I don't know I don't know y'all's favorite schedule release video. Um, I unfortunately have to give credit where credit is due with the Dallas Cowboys. The Tyler gimmick was kind of funny. It did make me chuckle a bit. Not gonna lie to you. But the Los Angeles Chargers, they remain the undefeated team when it comes to schedule release videos, bro. I mean, my goodness, the Easter eggs that they dropped in that Halo inspired schedule release vid was, and they actually got the narrator or the voice actor, who does like the schedule release videos. Just I mean, Gianni, which schedule release video I say was your favorite?
Yeah, it was the Chargers. I like the way they do it and everything. Yeah, and I gotta give too credit to the Cowboys because they did like week by week there and stuff like that. They even, like for us PC, they even threw the Easter bunny, the bunny that we had during the season, and
Yeah,
they put Kevin Patullo there and some other things. So like, yeah, I gotta give them a little credit for that stuff. But
I
yeah,
like when
hands down is the Chargers.
I like when teams go all out for it. Bam, what was your favorite? You're muted, brother.
Um, I think it was the Titans. I think it was the Titans. They had one where they interviewed just random fans in the street and showed them the
Yes.
logo of the team, and they had no idea who it was. Those types of schedule reveals are always funny because of the names that people come up with. Like it's just funny as a seasoned NFL fan seeing people who don't know and follow the NFL how they can interpret these logos. So I think that was really good one. It was really creative.
CK. Boy, when Big Dom had me in tears, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm definitely with Bam, bro. I just always think that the funniest type of schedule releases are when they ask the strangers to name the NFL teams and they just completely get them wrong, bro. And it, my favorite thing, like PC, it's kind of like I take it to like my TikTok. Like my favorite thing to see on TikTok is like people falling, people hurting themselves. I know it's kind of fucked up, but like people just,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro, but like just stupid people. I guess is basically what I'm getting at. It is just so funny to see stupid people give stupid answers. And I'm not calling the people stupid, but you get what I'm saying, PC. It's just funny to get those type of answers, bro, because it's like, bro. You've been alive for how many years, and you tell me you don't know what a Miami Dolphin is. You don't know what a Tampa Bay Buccaneer is, bro. You don't know what a Atlanta Falcon is, a Philadelphia Eagle, bro. Like, come on, dog.
It really goes to show, sports is only like a part of the world. So, there's really people that have gone like their entire lives without caring about who these teams really are. That's kind of crazy to me. Like for everybody here, like that's crazy to us. Like it's boring to us, but
Like
it is very
the
real.
women PC, I'm willing to give a pass, but it's when the guys answer the questions and they don't know the answers, bro. It's like, dude, what are you like? What the fuck what were you doing as a kid, bro? What were you watching? You weren't watching any type of sports, brother. Like what?
Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, yeah, that's what I was saying. There's a lot of like there were definitely a lot of interesting um schedule release videos. I think the worst one that I saw though easily had to be from Jaguars. I mean, the things that I want to say about Trevor Lawrence's new haircut, bro. It's not even they even tried to make it look good too. That was the sad part for me about that schedule release video. That was literally the whole vid. But then the reveal was even worse. Like it made no sense to me. It made no point to me. The Bills too. I don't know what the Bills had going on. To be honest with you. But let me get back on track. In terms of like what we expect to see. Now we know all 32 teams' official schedules for this upcoming season. What is your current thoughts on that? I'll stick with you, TK.
Um, I guess I'll start with the primetime games. I personally think that a team like the Raiders definitely should have had at least two primetime games this year. The fact that they had none, PC, I thought was a little weird. Because everybody knows I'm a Broncos fan, but I do expect some big things from Fernando in the Raiders. Maybe not this season when you know his rookie season, but I do expect big things from him in the future. So that's a team that I think the NFL would have been a little bit excited to see what the number one overall QB pick in the draft this season could have done. Um, Another thing, PC is I'm really interested in seeing what the Patriots end up doing because they have one of the toughest schedules this season, and then we all know what's going on with the head coach and Diana Rossini. I won't get into that too much. It's just gonna be interesting to see what type of season they have. Will they be able to um, get through all the stuff that's going on with their head coach? Will they be able to get through the tougher season after having the easiest schedule that we've seen since like I think it was what was it, the 70s or the 80s that they have yeah, something like that. PC's not in his head. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing what they do. Um, AFC West as a whole, obviously, I'm a Broncos fan, so we have a little tougher schedule this season. Our first 5 weeks, Gianni pointed this out to me. We talked a little bit about this in the group chat the other day. Our first five, I think, is the Seahawks. Gianni, if you want to name some of the teams, I think it's the Seahawks,
You
the
guys played,
Rams.
yeah, you guys played the Seahawks, the Rams, the Chiefs, the Niners,
And there was one
the
more team in there.
the
The
Jaguars.
Jags, yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm interested to see how we do throughout those first 5 weeks, PC. Do we come out of those first that first month 4-1, 3-2 to where I'm sitting in the chat having conversations with Bam, Jaden, and Mook saying, all right, I think we can do something realistic this season because although our schedule starts off really, really tough, PC, towards the end of the season, it starts to die down a lot. So I'm really interested to see how we start the season with Bo Nix coming back from that ankle injury. Jalen Waddle, who I still cannot believe we got in free agency. I'm interested to see how he clicks with the team, playing in that wide receiver one role with Bo Nix. So David Webb being the new offensive coordinator, this is going to be the perfect test for all these different new situations that we're going to be in within those first 5 weeks. So I'm interested in seeing that. AFC North. Let's see what Deshaun Watson can do. A lot of people, PC, I'm seeing a lot of people for whatever reason in NFL Twitter having a lot of faith in Deshaun Watson, brother. I don't know what. Yeah, brother. You know how NFL Twitter gets, bro. They can get real stupid, but I'm seeing it from some pretty well known journalists as well that just expect Deshaun Watson to have the type of season that he had with the Texans for whatever reason. He's coming back from the injury. I've heard all types of different things, so I'm interested to see how the AFC West does. I think the Bengals are going to be a much better team. I don't know if you guys heard Aaron Rodgers signed that 1-year contract yesterday, Bam. So he'll be back. Although I'm not too worried about the Steelers, but the Bengals, Ravens, and I am interested in seeing what Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders situation, how that plays out. So those are three teams I will be paying attention to. We talk about the NFC East, PC. That's going to be a very tough conference with you guys. A team like the Giants that are up and coming. The Dallas Cowboys are always a team that's really good in the regular season. And then the last thing, PC, the Atlanta Falcons. They have absolutely everything, brother. The defense is going to be really good this season. The offense is going to be really good this season. But Bam, Gianni, PC, it always goes back to the one thing that they have not had, in my opinion, since Matt Ryan. What is Michael Penix going to do this season? Because I believe that, honestly, if he does not do anything this season, I think they're going to move on, whether it's in the draft or whether they trade for a quarterback. So, yeah, those are just going to be a couple of things that I'm looking towards as far as their schedule in the NFL season, PC.
Bam.
Something interesting I've noticed about the schedules is that in I get that it's probably not intentional because I know the NFL has a whole formula for how they formulate the schedules. But it seems like really bad teams just got fucking the bringer of schedules. Like the Cardinals schedule is fucking ridiculous. Like they might not win a game. Their schedule is ridiculous. The Jet schedule, ridiculous. It's like I, and I guess that's why they say you should be a good team because if you're a bad team, you won't get shit schedules, and Like it's ridiculous. And the good teams got pretty relatively easy schedules. It's ridiculous to me because I've never seen it that way. Like the past few years, schedule has schedules have been pretty relatively balanced, but this year is just ridiculous. Like you can't even say they would be tanking because I don't see them beating us. I don't see the Cardinals beating a single team on their schedule. That's how hard it is.
Um, Truly. I mean, the team that I probably feel the worst for is the Cardinals. All things considered, it's Matt LaFleur too, coach that's I'm not gonna lie, I feel like a lot of us didn't even expect to be a head coach going in with an entire new system, new OC, new DC. You still got Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to rot. You got Jacoby Brissett as QB1 right now, which I mean, he's a nice short-term answer. Yeah. Jeremiah Love though. Yeah, brother, you basically go and be in the Ashton Jetsy seat this season because I don't think it's gonna end well. Ooh, that's me. One thing I will say about schedule for the NFC East in general, I think that we are going to see a very competitive division this year because we have all four teams in the division have a fairly easy schedule. We're all kind of middle of the pack in terms of the difficulties of schedule this year. That can change, that can vary, because as we all know, there are going to be teams that we expect to be good and teams that we expect to be bad that are actually good, and vice versa. So I think that in terms of the competition in the division NFC East this year, as well as the AFC North this year, going to be very big storylines to look at. Um, because again, whoever comes out of these two divisions, I think are going to be credible threats and come playoff time. I mean, especially if I'm talking defensively, we talked about the Ravens with Trey Hendrickson, who signed with the Ravens in the offseason. You of course have the Bengals, of course, the Bengals, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. That's always going to be a great trio. You got the Browns, who I think are going to be one of those trap teams, especially come December, are going to be very tough to beat with that elite defense. You also have the Steelers, who we don't know what they're going to be yet. Down in the NFCs, Giants, who I already said I think can potentially be a wild card team this year. You got the Cowboys, who expect to be a lot more than what they were last year. And then the Commanders, who are looking to bounce back, and of course the Eagles, of course. Like there's just so much on the line for a couple of these teams that I feel like middle of the pack schedules are going to be a huge factor. And, first month of the season, I feel like we can't really judge. I think, a lot of people learned their lesson, especially after the first couple of weeks last year. I mean, Texans started off 0-3, and then Deep Pitch just went nuclear. So, middle of the pack schedules are going to really determine just how good a team actually is or not. For me, anyway. Gianni?
I'm gonna bring up the NFCs because, like you said, that early in the season we can't judge teams, but I'm looking at like our schedule versus everybody else. I think the team outside of us that has the more favorable start is probably Washington because after Washington play us, they actually have pretty, 2, 3 games that they have potentially a chance to win. If you look at the Cowboys, they open against the Giants and the Commanders. But after that, they play the Ravens, they play the Texans, they play the Bucks, they play the Packers. It goes from the Seahawks, then us, then the Niners. Like they have no breaks after the first 2 weeks. The Cowboys. So to me, the Cowboys, if they don't start out fast, they're not going to be a factor in my opinion. But the Commanders, I think, are going to be more of a factor based on the structure of the schedules. And you don't know. We don't know who's going to be good or not next season. That's a lot of question marks. But PC for our schedule is going to be a tough December because we gotta play the Texans, the Seahawks, and the Niners 3 straight weeks. That's going to be the brutal part of the schedule. And looking at the other division, the NFC West, the Rams, Seahawks, and Niners. I think one of those three teams are going to miss the playoffs because it's too brutal of a division at this point that I don't think all three are going to be able to make it. Because you look at the NFC North, that division is very competitive, top to bottom. We saw Minnesota win 9 games with no quarterback, basically. We saw Detroit finish last place with 9 wins. So I think 2 teams will come out of that division, in my opinion, at this point. And then you look at the NFC East, I think for us is right now, I think is us right now, and then maybe another team. Like you look at that right now, and you look at maybe the Niners are probably the odd team out at this point. Then you look at the AFC. Like TK said, the Broncos' schedule to start out is brutal. Like you need to go out and start 3-2 there because the Jaguars, the Chiefs, the Seahawks, the Rams. I think you guys even have TK. I think in October the Bills as well, if I'm not mistaken, or somebody like that is in the top basically. So that's not easy sledding at all. Chargers too got screwed over too with their schedule. Their schedule is beyond brutal. Like their only break I think is Miami and the Jets in the middle of the season, and that's it. They don't have any breaks. I like the Ravens and the Bengals schedule. I think that sets them up well. I think to be 1-2 in the division at this point. The AFC East with the Patriots having a tough schedule, I think they're going to be a team that missed the playoffs next season. Their schedule is pretty tough at this point.
Yeah, after everything that has gone down in New England this past year, really over the last 12 months. I mean, that would
Yeah.
just be the beautiful cherry on top of a beautiful disaster cake, if you ask me. But hey, that's not me manifesting. That's just might be a prediction. Might be a prediction more than anything. The full schedule release already happened with the NFL. We're only a matter of 2 weeks away from a brand new league year starting. So whole lot of trades being finalized and officially confirmed. A whole lot of new sightings happening with in voluntary workouts also starting for these teams as well. It should be a very fun time to be an NFL fan within a matter of weeks. So we have to wait and see how it all pans out. All right. That was penultimate topic. Let's get to the last topic of the night. And this topic, I'm I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of I laughed a little bit. I chuckled when TK had said it earlier. I so casually mentioned at the end of episode last week that Jalen Hurts is the greatest quarterback in Eagles franchise history, and there just seems to be some sort of disconnect when I said that. Um, and I want to re-clarify everything, from your perspective, TK. I'm gonna let you start off. I'm gonna let you give your answers first. I want to hear what you have to say about this, because in your own words, I've lost my damn mind when I said that Jalen Hurts is the greatest quarterback in franchise history. So, I'm gonna let you go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead first. Who is the greatest quarterback in Eagles history then?
PC. The greatest quarterback in Eagles history is Carson Wentz. I don't even think it's
Nah, you want to say that with a straight face?
Look at this guy is a
Oh
troll.
man, I'm just playing. But all jokes aside, PC, you have absolutely lost your damn mind because the 2 names that I pointed out to you in the chat were Donovan McNabb and Randall Cunningham. And you just disrespectfully, first of all, you blew off Donovan McNabb. Pause. Randall Cunningham, you kind of had a little more respect for, but you barely would even, when me and Bam tried to say, what about Randall Cunningham? You kind of just blew that off as well at the end of the day because Jalen Hurts won you a Super Bowl. This is your words. He won you a Super Bowl. A guy that's been to 2 Super Bowls. Um, and I guess this is when me and Bam say that we hate what rain culture has done to the leagues. This is what we're talking about, PC. Because how disrespectful of you to disrespect Donovan McNabb, who's first in your team's passing yards all time, first in touchdowns and completions for quarterbacks all time in Eagles franchise history. This is the dude that threw 33,000 passing yards, PC. 33,000 passing yards for your organization. I don't even know how much Jalen Hurts has thrown for your organization, but I know it's not close. I know it's not close for because it's a quarterback that doesn't throw a lot. What
He's
about
like
the
17,000.
Mm.
Let me finish, Pete. Let me finish. He's not gonna pass 32,000. I promise you, bro. So like I was saying, PC and Gianni. What about the 216 touchdown passes that Donovan McNabb has thrown for your organization? Does that not mean anything to you guys? Is that nothing? What about the 6 Pro Bowls? What about the 5 NFC championship appearances? And he did get to a Super Bowl, guys. All right. He can't help it that he played the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady. He can't help that, brother. He can't. So that was number one. So, but PC, that's the guy that you just completely just blew out of the conversation. So then Randall Cunningham. This is a guy who 4,500 rushing yards for you guys, PC. Wasn't he an NFL? Was he not an MVP in like the 90s? Am I tripping?
No, nobody ever won MVP in this
So
organization.
what is a PFWA NFL MVP? What is that? Can somebody explain that to me? Because it says NFL MVP at the end of that award, PC. So
Maybe
I'm gonna
the
say he was.
Thanksgiving
I'm gonna.
award.
Oh God, this motherfucker said a Thanksgiving NFL MVP, brother. What are we doing here? So see, this is how disrespectful you want to be to this man, bro. For
But
Jalen
there
Hurts,
was
brother.
MVP for Thanksgiving in the 90s.
PC, can you look this up? You got a computer in front of you, brother. PFWA NFL MVP. Look that up for the 1990.
PFWA.
Yes, NFL MVP 1990. I need the listeners to know what this is because I don't know what it is. I thought it was just MVP.
PFWA football MVP.
He just freeze, brother. Nigga got a new computer to freeze, dog. Return that shit back. Okay, PC.
It
So
says
PC, you froze. Go ahead.
well, no, it says is the Pro Football Writers of America. So it's basically
Freedom
the
Riders.
MVP that they give out every single year. For Pro Football Writers of America. Yeah. So their MVP, which ends up being the ultimate MVP of the NFL.
But you know what, PC? You know what? That's impressive because Jalen Hurts doesn't have it. So that's something that he can't say that he has. So, anyways, what about the 23,000 pass yards that he threw for the Eagles? PC, the 4,500 rushing yards. These are just 2 quarterbacks that have done a lot for your organization, brother. And for you to just surpass both of them because of Jalen Hurts' Super Bowl. What about Nick Foles? Nick Foles, I mean, he's the guy that got you the first Super Bowl, PC. You got a statue outside that every time you go to a game, PC, or Gianni, you decide to take that drive to Philadelphia and you go to a game, you know the statue that you're going to see out there? Nick Foles. You know the statue you're not going to see out there? Jalen Hurts. So, PC, next time you discuss quarterbacks that you grew up watching, brother, that we all grew up watching. Like, I understand Donovan McNabb was no superstar or anything, but he was a part of history, PC. All right? Because he's a quarterback that you watched growing up that we all did. Just be a little more respectful, brother. Because Jalen Hurts is just not any of these guys in PC. And this is why Donovan McNabb or Randall Cunningham is the greatest quarterback in the Eagles organization history, brother.
That's it.
I got nothing else to say, but I think I laid it all out there.
Okay. Bam, Mister. Anything that you want to add before I get into my soliloquy here? Just off the top of your head.
Like I said the previous week, I'm not mad at anybody who who has Jalen Hurts or Randall Cunningham. Uh, Again, I personally understand both arguments. I understand the argument for Jalen Hurts because regardless of when you talk about greatest quarterbacks in team history, emphasis being team, he won a ring, which is something that other quarterbacks outside of uh, Nick Foles haven't done. Um, as much great as Donovan McNabb has done for the Eagles, the two Eagles fans on here will tell you he had a reputation for choking in big games, and that's why they didn't have a ring up until Jalen Hurts. Um, but also I can acknowledge what Randall Cunningham has did for the Eagles in terms of building them to the modern day culture that they have now. On top of his individual influence on the position of quarterback, I can acknowledge that and how drastic of an influence that was. So I don't really have a dog in this fight. Again, I personally think that Jalen Hurts will surpass anybody who has Randall Cunningham at the top. I personally think he will surpass anybody that has Donovan McNabb at the top. But I also ain't mad at anybody who feels like he hasn't done enough yet. But I think with enough time, he will end his tenure as the Eagles' greatest quarterback of all time.
Okay. Um, before I begin, what I have to say, I just want to clarify real quick for the all your listeners here to our viewers here on YouTube. So TK, the premise of your argument is essentially you can either have Donovan McNabb or Randall Cunningham above Jalen Hurts, and you think that these two would be better options as the greatest quarterback of all time in Eagles franchise history. Am I getting that correct? That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Um, also want to preface this by saying that there was no means to disrespect either of those two QBs. I'm not quite sure where you thought the disrespect came from on my end. There was a lot that Randall and Donovan did to walk so that Jalen Hurts could run. And I'll start with the fact that this the Jalen Hurts' biggest argument, and that is every single year Jalen Hurts has been the starter. The Eagles have made the playoffs. He has a playoff record of 6-4. Now, I went back and I saw the stats for the first 5 years as starter for Cunningham and McNabb. And again, this is the first 5 years they were fully the starter. There were seasons before that where they were partially the starters for like a couple of games, but I'm not really counting those. So I did that for Cunningham. I did that for even Michael Vick, and Donovan McNabb. Michael Vick, who I'm surprised he even mentioned, he even bring up, he only made the playoffs one time in the short time he was in Philadelphia. He went 0-2 technically. When he was a starter, he lost that one game against the Green Bay Packers. Randall Cunningham, he actually went 0-3 as a playoff starter for us. The only one that actually has a positive winning record was Donovan McNabb. His first 5 years as a starter, Donovan McNabb was the man. I mean, playoffs, divisional round, conference championship, conference championship, conference championship. Like he was top of the world. All right, I'll give you that. One thing that Donovan never did though was make 2 Super Bowls in a span of 3 years as starting quarterback. Now, again, football is a team sport, as we already know. And Jalen Hurts, you can attach us having a great defense, to it, maybe having Saquon Barkley's historic season. Okay, yeah, that does place a factor. The one thing that you ultimately have to have in order to try and beat the Eagles is put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands, right? That's how you beat the Eagles, correct? Well, apparently that hasn't really worked out because in Super Bowl history, he is the most accurate passer in Super Bowl history at 77.3%. He has the fourth highest QBR rating in Super Bowl history as well. The only 3 quarterbacks that are in front of him are Terry Bradshaw, Aaron Rodgers, and Steve Young. I'd say that's pretty good company. Jalen Hurts is about to turn 28 years old in August. Y'all know that. And before his 27th birthday, he actually had only two quarterbacks that were in front of him in terms of the most playoff wins before his 27th birthday: Patrick Mahomes and Ben Roethlisberger. Only two quarterbacks before that. The Jalen Hurts, another fun fact I just want to throw in there for you, had 305 passing attempts without an interception, the most attempts without one in franchise history. Donovan McNabb never did that. Michael Vick never did that. Nick Foles never did that. And Randall Cunningham never did that either. So when that first interception against the Giants happened, and everybody screamed bloody murder, like, here he is, the real Hurts has finally exposed himself. It was well over a year since we saw an interception between the last time Jalen Hurts threw an INT. But that's okay. That's okay though. Jalen Hurts, he's not a real passer for real. He always needs some sort of help, and he's this uncoachable guy, right? Well, according to the QB coach for the Eagles last year, Scott LaFleur, this was a guy that was only in Philadelphia for just well over a year. He said that, and I quote, Hurts is super coachable. Well, that can't be right. He even goes in depth actually about the way he talks about it. He says, and this is Scott LaFleur, former QB coach for the Eagles, when talking about Jalen Hurts, he said, I absolutely loved it. I loved the people, really loved working with Jalen Hurts and the rest of the quarterbacks. We've got a great relationship still to this day. I wish him nothing but the best. He's a super coachable championship type of guy, and being able to work with him for a year was awesome. He's a champion in every aspect of the word. He's hardworking, smart, and he's a great competitor. Well, that's a little bit weird because wasn't there a reports earlier in the summer that said that Jalen Hurts was this uncoachable guy that was a bit difficult to work with when pertaining to playing under center. Funny enough, when Jeremy Fowler dropped that report, it came apparently the team source came from an AFC exec. So who on the Eagles coaching staff last year, who's currently in the AFC this year, would be able to work with Jalen Hurts daily to say such a crazy thing? I think I know a guy that might know that. Oh yeah, it's Kevin Patullo, who's currently with the Miami Dolphins. Kevin Patullo was the former OC for the Philadelphia Eagles last season. But you already know that, TK. It's okay that you went off camera for this too, because I already know you already know that this is going off the bat. But it's okay. It's okay. So him being uncoachable, that kind of got debunked in that sense. He's sixth all time in history, in Eagles franchise history in passing touchdowns. He's going to move the fourth all time after the first month of the season. He doesn't even need to play out the entire season. As God forbid, barring any serious injury, he's going to be fourth all time. And the only three quarterbacks are in front of him, fair enough, are Donovan McNabb, Ron Jaworski, and Randall Cunningham. He's fourth all time in passing yards. Again, only quarterbacks in front of him are Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, and Ron Jaworski. But I don't think we're putting Jaws in greatest QB of all time, Eagles franchise history. Jalen Hurts has made AJ Brown a All-Pro 3 times, has made him a 1K receiver every year he's been in Philly. Devontae Smith has done it twice, even though there's been, narrative stats, Jalen Hurts hasn't, given AJ Brown the ball or any of his wide receivers the ball. That turns out to be true. Oh, but, wide receivers and tight ends, now we can bring in tight ends as well. Dallas Goedert just had a career year where he finished with 11 touchdowns receiving. That's 6 more than his last career high that he achieved. And he is second. It's just crazy. That's all these stats that I'm reading off to you now, TK. I haven't even mentioned one rushing stat yet. That's the biggest thing about Jalen Hurts, right? Is that he's this running quarterback. That's the greatest thing that he can do, right? And he does a really good job at it. I mean, he's second all time in franchise history with rushing touchdowns. The only one in front of him at this point is Steve Van Buren. He set the franchise record for most combined touchdowns by a team in a single season in franchise history in 2021. So like he's obviously very good at running. He has to be. But I don't want to discredit his legs, or rather his arm, because he does something so well with his legs. This is a complete quarterback, something that we took inspiration from with a guy like Randall Cunningham, with a guy like Donovan McNabb, with a guy like Michael Vick. The Philadelphia Eagles, another small fun little fact for you to know, TK, is that the Philadelphia Eagles have the most games ever started by a black QB. So if there's any team in the league that knows how to win with a black quarterback, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts, to add on, he is the last guy to have the perfect QBR in a game. He's the last quarterback to have a perfect QBR rating, as a matter of fact. And he did it against the Brian Flores led Vikings defense, a defense that was very talented upon. He is a three-time Pro Bowler, one-time Super Bowl winner, and you had mentioned, because you had me, search up what the heck is a PFWA. I think that's what it is. The Pro Football Writers of America MVP. Well, Jalen Hurts as a Super Bowl MVP, so I don't know if that means anything to you. In the two Super Bowls that he's played, he's been the best player on the field, even outdoing Patrick Mahomes in a loss, and there were a lot of people that would agree with it. So this narrative that I'm losing my mind, that Jalen Hurts is this just average QB and I'm being disrespectful to Donovan McNabb and to Randall Cunningham, that couldn't be further from the truth, brother. You can shake your head all you want. I don't know
Also,
if you
PC, you
smoked
forgot
enough
one thing.
times to really. I'm gonna let you go ahead, G. So end them all, because I have nothing else to say to TK, because he knows I'm right. Even through all the smoke that's in your brain right now, I know you know what I'm saying to you. It's nothing strictly but facts. Jalen Hurts has done a lot of things right, and at the end of the day, it isn't just me saying it. It's your favorite quarterback saying it. It's a lot of Hall of Fame quarterbacks that are saying, "Yo, this guy's legit." And yet, there's guys like you, Chase Daniel, Chris Sims, guys that have barely accomplished nothing, little to nothing in the NFL, saying that this guy is not the answer. Now, who am I going to believe? You tell me.
My eyes. My
You
eyes.
tell me.
All right.
But I have nothing else to say.
Put
I have
Jalen
nothing else
Hurts
to
out
say.
there throwing the ball with Todd Pinkston. That's his fucking wide receiver too, PC. I dare you.
He had
I
Quez
fucking
Watkins
dare
as a
you.
wide receiver too at one point. I just want to point that out.
Okay, brother.
And we still
All
made the
right.
playoffs.
Okay, brother.
I mean, you could check. His first year start. That's who he was. Unless you want me to search it up again, like you made me search up what the heck is a
Now, Quez
PFWA
Watkins
MVP.
is a great all time receiver according to TK at this point, because
Yeah.
that's why now that's why he wants now Quez Watkins now is this wide receiver that's as level as Devontae and AJ. That's how I feel like TK look at Quez Watkins. I never forget those drop passes he had a lot with us. But PC, to add, the other thing you forgot, and TK forgot, is that Jalen Hurts has an All Pro, and he finished second MVP, and that second MVP, it was close with Mahomes. Like it was 1A, 1B right there. But the problem that happened was Jalen got hurt and missed 2 games, and that kind of, we lost that. He lost the MVP there at that point. But he went 14-1. He finished with All Pro and finished second MVP. I don't know if Donovan and Randall ever done that. Honestly.
And to add on to that point you just made, Gianni, what was our record when Jalen Hurts didn't play that season?
0-2.
Thank you.
Randall Cunningham and Donovan McNabb didn't have Saquon Barkley. They didn't have Devontae Smith. They didn't have AJ Brown.
But now you want to bring in all these additions. No, brother.
Like, what are we doing?
We're past
what
putting the blame on everybody else. You center on Jalen Hurts when his number has been called, and you said, "Okay, Jalen Hurts, you go and win us the football game." Has he not done that? Be truthful. Be truthful. Like it's okay to say it. Like this is the problem. This is the narrative. This is the stigma that we got to break when we talk about this guy. When we talk about this QB, just because he isn't out there reacting and going crazy off a block kick game winner, or saying something that's gonna make us have a lot more discourse or something else to talk about on sports podcasts like this. Just because he's not doing that doesn't make him a bad QB or an average QB or so below average QB. I feel like this really all starts, especially after we won the Super Bowl, where there were a lot of people, including myself, that said Jalen Hurts is top five, and I put him specifically at number five. And a lot of people have just not they haven't been able to recover since, because for that time, it was the truth. But we just did a current top five list in the NFL, and if we're talking currently, I'll be honest, I think Jalen Hurts is just right outside that top 10 mark. And that is something that, again, can be fixed in due time. Currently, especially with the offense that we have, especially with the resources that he has, you can't blame a quarterback because his GM is doing an excellent job. What kind of sense does that make? What kind of excuse is that? I mean, the whole premise around Jalen Hurts is that, oh, if you take this, and this away from Jalen, then what is he? But you'd be taking away the entire offense if you did that. Which, again, how is that fair when you talk about a quarterback like Jalen Hurts? Again, another argument that I didn't even bring up is that, oh, you can input any quarterback into the Eagles system and they're gonna ultimately win a whole lot of games. Well, we saw that with Gardner Minshew. It didn't look good. We even saw it with Terry McKee for a game, and it didn't look good. So I'm very confused on why y'all keep on moving the goalposts when you talk about a guy like Jalen Hurts. Like I don't get it. Help me, like seriously, help me understand what
We're
your beef
also
is with
three
Jalen,
and
because
five.
that's what it has to be at this point, TK. That's what it has to be.
First of all, PC, you know that when people are making that quarterback argument that you can plug any quarterback, they meant any like a Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, those type of quarterbacks. Not a damn
Well,
Tanner
no, there were
McKee.
Justin Fields. There were Justin Fields in there.
Oh
There were
God.
Gardner
Oh
Minshew's in
God.
there.
Oh
I mean,
God.
again, moving the goalposts where you want it to be.
That's just
You just gotta
terrible.
stay consistent. Go ahead,
The,
Gianni.
the other thing too is like you said, like plug in. This is the problem too with NFL discourse with quarterbacks, that everybody thinks, oh, you could put any quarterback into a system and they're just gonna win 14 games, 14, 15 games, and it's gonna be like nothing, that they can win 5 Super Bowls. You're not gonna win 5 Super Bowls in this era, basically. Only Tom Brady won 5 Super Bowls. So at this point, like TK always like say, oh, in the chat that, oh, with the offense we have to have 3, 4 Super Bowls. That's not how it works, honestly. Football is not doesn't work like that, because if it was
Year
like
by
that,
year
the
league.
Rams should have more rings. The
Mm.
I think we should have more rings. Like you can bring up a lot of teams. Let's look at the Niners, for example. They lost 2 Super Bowls, or actually 3 Super Bowls. They had so many talented teams. They should have over 10 Super Bowls.
Well, I kind of disagree because we can look at a team like the Kansas City Chiefs that have what is it, 3 Super Bowls in 5 years? I mean, why can't you guys do that? You guys have the team for it. You guys have the organization
But
for it. You
but
guys have all the
does it?
pieces. So we
But
can't
since
say
but in
But
this
again,
century,
you
only two
don't.
teams have
nobody
done that.
nobody has
Yeah, but I'm
ever
saying you don't even
nobody
have.
no realistic fan has ever put Patrick Mahomes, or rather Jalen Hurts, above Patrick Mahomes. Only fans who were doing that were fans that wanted to piss guys like you off. All right. When we talk about Patrick Mahomes, we're talking about, a legendary player. We're talking about a guy that's in the same combo as Tom Brady, because Tom Brady was the only other quarterback that could pull off 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. That's the only other QB. So
Yeah,
nobody, not including myself, Gianni, we never did that.
yeah, exactly. No, if your name is not Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, you're not gonna win 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. It's never gonna happen. Honestly, we're not gonna see that from any other quarterback. Those are the only two quarterbacks that can do it. Like we need to look at reality,
No,
and I think it's just those two
I
quarterbacks
get it. I
that
get
can
it.
do it.
I get it. Like honestly, like Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Bo Nix, like those are just quarterbacks that we're never ever gonna see. Like
I
that we're
don't
never
know if
gonna
you
see other
do. I,
quarterbacks
I
like
I
that.
feel I don't know if you do. You just might be saying it just so you can
What's up,
get a
Bam?
reaction off of
Bam,
me.
Gianni, y'all good? Why y'all laughing? What's up?
Yo.
Wait, PC, did we miss something?
I don't know why they're laughing.
Yeah.
Look,
Did we
He
miss
all I
said
something?
know.
Bo Nix, man. He said Bo
Oh,
Nix.
What's the
Bo Nix,
problem?
fuck out of here.
What's the problem?
My
Yeah, I don't
goodness.
know what to end the show, man, because that was crazy.
Bro, how did
But,
PC not hear that, dog?
yo, PC, how you did not hear that? He said Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes,
Hey, I
Bo
snuck Mo
Nix.
Nix in there, bro.
But
Because a lot
no,
of what he's been saying for the last 10 minutes has been
but this is
bullshit
the real
anyway. So
thing.
you tend to tune out the bullshit after a while.
TK, this is how I'm telling you. I know how talented the roster is and everything, but this is the thing. Jalen Hurts is not Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, and he has to be those guys. But those are the two guys that can pull off 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. We're not going to see that because look at the Rams, for example. Every year the Rams are competitive and everything, but they fall short every year because it's hard. It's hard. You're not going to beat Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. Those two teams, Patriots and Chiefs, they're up there. Everybody's trying to chase those two teams, like like their success, but it's not going to happen because with the salary cap, with injuries too, because you got to factor in injuries too. How competitive these teams are, and look at the NFC. The NFC it gets tougher every year too. You have to factor that in as well.
And this is the last thing I'll say. You can we have to start as football fans start considering different versions of what elite looks like. And for the better half, for most of Jalen Hurts' career, he has been a consistent winner. And there's a very good reason why a lot of fans have them in this elite QB conversation. Like, it's not for nothing. Not for nothing. Like, this dude has been a winner ever since he's been a starter in the league. And a league that's very hard to win in. You can look at someone like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. All these guys have done outstanding historic things in the NFL, but none of them have a ring for it. They haven't been able to beat Patrick Mahomes. The only quarterback that's been able to beat Patrick Mahomes is Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts. And that has to count for something. And the second that I think a lot of people can understand that, a lot of people can realize that, then we can start to be a bit more progressive when we talk about a guy like Jalen Hurts. That has to count for something. And I say it because again, there's still going to be people that bring it up like, oh, that's because he has an elite defense and Saquon Barkley and AJ Brown. Like, okay, you can have a brand new 2026 Ferrari. You can buy it fresh off the lot. If you don't got the steering wheel for that Ferrari, guess what's going to happen? So there is no chance. No, there's no doubt in my mind that Jalen Hurts is the man in Philadelphia. He is the guy, and there's a very good reason why a lot of Philadelphia fans, including myself, have very high hopes for him. And shame on the media too for saying a lot of shameful things about Jalen this offseason. Talking about this is the guy that's under the most pressure to succeed. What? You mean the guy that's been to the Super Bowl 2 times in the last 3 years? Something that not even Matthew Stafford, who just won MVP, hasn't been able to do. Lamar hasn't been able to do. That Patrick last 2 seasons, hasn't been able to do. This is the guy that you have under the most pressure. Not Michael Penix. All right, not Lamar Jackson, not Josh Allen, not Bryce Young, not CJ Stroud, not Trevor Lawrence. None of these guys. This dude is
I'm
under the most
surprised
pressure
Josh
to
is not.
succeed.
I'm surprised Josh is not the most pressure because having those 4 turnovers in a game that, like TK, I understand it went back and forth, but what happened to Bo Nix, I hate to bring it up. That was your opportunity to get to a Super Bowl that season, and he blew it. And I feel like people are giving him too much of a pass and too much privilege for that. That I think he's the most pressure quarterback entering the season because he has to go and actually like now right the wrong after that because you have 4 turnovers against a team that lost their starting quarterback. Like how you not the most pressure after that?
Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And if you can make it make sense, then get back to me so that you can help me make it make sense. Because I'm just tired of talking every single day. I grow more and more tired talking about Jalen Hurts because there are people that just have this blind jealousy towards Jalen. And I don't know. I'm sick and tired of talking about it. So yeah, when I say that Jalen Hurts is the greatest quarterback in franchise history, I meant that shit. I'm doubling down on it. And don't let him get another Super Bowl while he's the starter for this team, because I will be more unbearable when I say it. I'm gonna keep on bringing it up every single chance I get. But hey, don't worry though. Don't worry though. There's for every Jalen Hurts, there's always going to be a quarterback that a lot of people love to troll with. God forbid, don't let someone like I don't know, Cam Ward beat Jalen Hurts this year, and then all of a sudden Cam Ward's gonna be better than Jalen. You know, it comes with the territory. The hate get real, the love get faker. But when you're this great, that's how you should like it, as Kendrick said. Let's get to the end of the episode. Episode 267 is officially wrapped up in the books. Thank y'all boys for coming out this week. Call up one, check up on them, tell them that you love them. Stay hydrated, of course. We'll be firmly in conference finals conversations come next week as the Cleveland Cavaliers did officially beat the Detroit Pistons 125-94. Not close. Not close in game 7 whatsoever. Kate Fish with 13 points. Also want to point out Tobias Harris, that damn demon that went crazy against the Magic. Elimination game Tobias. 5 points, 5 rebounds, 0-6 from the field. hey, but shout out to James Harden too, because he didn't do nothing either. 9 points, 2 of 10 from the field, 0-6 from 3. I mean, you can't make it up. Thanks, Daryl Morey. Truly. Thank you, Daryl. Love you. I have nothing more to say. Good night.